Perry here with TrueDFS, and I am going to briefly go over tonight's 10-game NHL DFS slate using SaberSim. I am going to build for my usual process, which is playing in the higher stakes 222, which is about 167-man field and has 5 entries. And then we get some requests from time to time about playing on FanDuel. So then I'll go and we'll do a little MME talk on FanDuel. We'll keep it brief today. We'll just see what the Sims say. I put a little write-up on TrueDFS.com. It's something you get access for free, but do keep in mind that if you like and subscribe, you won't just get, or you'll get the free content, but you could also go to TrueDFS.com and check out some of the packages we have that partner with SaberSim. And it gets you not only SaberSim and access to what we're doing here, but also access to Goldie's projections and Sheets' projections for just about every DFS sport. And then we have premium content in Discord, and we have the live stuff we do in Discord before lock. So there's a lot you really get with the package. And you know, you see the screenshots of Bobby and Sheets lately. I mean, they are just crushing it. So to get their advice on projections and to get their advice on DFS and knowing ball, so to speak, is really, I think, well worth the price of admission. So keep that in mind as you watch today's video. So I'm going to go, I have all my settings loaded. I like to build the onslaught stacks. I don't think enough people are playing the onslaughts, especially in the higher buy-ins. I don't play the lottery on DraftKings, so I'm not quite sure. But my understanding from hearing other people's analyses is that the onslaught sections aren't played enough, and they come in a lot more often. And you can think intuitively of why that is. I mean, correlation is king in hockey. So people playing the 3-mans and the 4-mans, you got to get a lot more right to hit an outlier there from one or two of those guys. You know, I like with the onslaughts, especially if you have a cheaper guy kind of attaching to it that you could kind of bring along to just maybe hit value with it. And it's kind of like in baseball as well, where we play the 5-mans because we only have to get one thing right then. And so we'll try and limit what we have to do. DFS is like a parlay, but if you could limit the number of legs you have to hit, but increase the payout to the normal size of it, then that's the way to go. And last but not least, these 5-mans do have pretty good outlier ranges. And so we see them coming in quite a bit in the ROI of SaberSim as the top ROI lineups. And so, you know, I'm inclined to trust them and go with it. So I have that loaded up. I'm going to try and build 5,000 lineups when I'm constraining it. I'm going to use ownership based on the high stakes 20 max because it's a 5-entry high stakes GPP that I'm playing on DraftKings. This should be pretty similar to any of your small field stuff that you do on DraftKings. So let's run and build. And then you can see here I've got the contest sim loaded up. So after we build our lineups using play-by-play simulations, we're going to run a contest simulation. And really what that's saying is if the other people, there's 167 entries, if the other 166 people play the lineups we think that they're going to play, and in the combination of players and stacks and one-offs, etc., that we think they might do, that how are these lineups we build, these 5,000s, how are they going to grade against them? How will they do over time? And what will the return on investment be if you played these out thousands of times? So that's what we're going to do here. As you can see, it's slower than expected. So let's just get it to 1,000. Usually this is a little faster if you don't put constraints on it. And as you could see, I said don't build any of these stacks and just sell out for the onslaught. So it's taken a lot more time to get to that point, but that's okay. We don't need, for the purposes of the video, to get to the 5,000. So we'll let it go to about 2,000 and then just stop it. Now, if I was doing this before lock, which is what I do, you know, 10 minutes before lock, once any kind of news or lineup changes are in, once the projections are as sharp as possible, you know, I would let it go to 5,000. but no need to keep you on the line here any longer. So I'm just going to stop it at 2,000, and then we'll see what our highest ROI stacks are, which teams we're getting to. So now I'm running that contest sim that I mentioned. This could take a few seconds. There we go. And now we're going to sort it by the ROI of this contest. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at like what our top 10 is. It's only a 5 entry, so let's see what team or teams it likes. A lot of Buffalo. They got the 4 total. They've got San Jose on the back-to-back. San Jose's pretty bad as it is. They played great in Toronto yesterday, but this is a smash spot for Buffalo. And then you get a Winnipeg stack. You get the Winnipeg 6-mans too. So Buffalo is our highest ROI lineup at 164.8%. Now we'll never get to that ROI in real life because, of course, this is perfect information. This assumes that not only are our projections correct, but the way we expect the field to play is perfectly correct. And it never goes perfectly. So we can't expect these huge inflated ROIs, but it's a pretty big dip from 1 to 2. Let's see if we go down on our top 10 if there's a big dip. So our top was 164. It goes down to 131. So, I'm inclined to think you don't want to go outside of like your top 5 in this. So where's this 5th ranked lineup? 138. I mean, that's a pretty big dip from 164. 140. So, there is some variance in the ROIs because the sims have variance of how often lineup might just bink in the simulations. But if this were right before lock, I mean, I'd be inclined to go with Buffalo. You don't have to play this one, but it really does stand out. What you could do, like we could see though, there is variance in the sim. So let's see what this ROI is. If we reran 10,000 simulations, let's see how close the ROI gets. There's a kind of standard deviation in your ROI that you have to look out for. So let's see where this showed up. I came in even higher. Came in as a 188. I mean, this is early in the day standing out on DraftKings for small field. The Buffalo's really standing out. I think that'll change. I mean, I assume people are going to get on Buffalo with the 4 total, but we'll see. So, imagine we're doing this 10 minutes before 6 Central, and, Buffalo is the way we go, the way I'd go. I mean, you still get some high upside Carolina guys with correlation and a 3.8 total. You get the Peugeot, who's a pretty good value. So that's how I would play it. People have asked about FanDuel. So we'll run as if we're MMEing on FanDuel. I have the contest sim already set up. I'm not going to make really any changes. I'm just going to go ahead and build and run a sim and see what happens. I imagine this build is going to get us to 5,000 quite a bit more quickly than it would if we were constraining the builder like we did on DraftKings. So let's see. I've also noticed, I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, you put it in chat, but that from time to time, SaberSim is slower earlier in the day. I don't know if that's just me or it's anecdotal or in my head, but you can see this is going a lot faster. What's up, Project Mayhem? What NHL team do I support? I suppose I support the Blackhawks. I'm not like a huge real life NHL fan, actually. I don't know a ton about hockey in real life. I'm not a no puck guy. I'm more of a trust the projections, trust the sims, and learn to navigate those kind of guy. But I'm from Chicago, born and raised, and so I do have to support the Blackhawks. However, bad they are. Now they traded Seth Jones, so they have even less. But, hopefully Bedard will save us at some point. Maybe he will become like a McDavid or Matthews, at least in terms of scoring. Cross your fingers. Who do you support, Project Mayhem? You can put it in chat. All right, so we'll run this simulation. We've got 5,000 lineups. Let's sort it by ROI. They had a great team before with Taze and Kane. They sure did. That was fun. Back-to-back championships. Taze, Kane. Who else? They had DeBrincat, right? A young DeBrincat. We could play him today. And Detroit, is he in though? Yeah, he's there. And we could play Kane too. And you could play the other Taze. You could play the Taze or you could play Colorado Taze. I'm originally from Pittsburgh, so I like the Pens. But in DFS, there's no. That's right. Yeah, I mean, if I had any sort of fandom for any sports, it's a bit dead with DFS now. I'm a fan of whoever I play that night. So, is Pittsburgh on tonight? Like Pittsburgh. Oh, Pittsburgh's playing Colorado. I mean, Colorado's going to look good. I'd be a fan of Colorado tonight if I played them. But who knows? Maybe let's see if we get any Pittsburgh on FanDuel. We're getting all people ask this question: are what are the best stacks? On FanDuel and DraftKings. I mean, clearly, with correlation being king, and you only being able to get up to 4-man stacks in FanDuel, and those also providing the best outlier outcomes, I wouldn't go anywhere but the 4-mans on FanDuel. And just like I like the onslaughts on DraftKings, these may not be onslaughts, but I'm inclined to think the 4-3 and the 4-4 are probably overall better than the 4-2. I mean, the 4-2 is coming up a little bit more here, so maybe that's not the case, but I imagine the 4-4s aren't played enough. So we got a lot of Buffalo, Detroit, Calgary, a couple Pittsburgh 4-mans. There you go, Project Mayhem. Couple Pittsburgh 4-mans. Do we get any Pittsburgh 3s? No. Here it is in the early look. I mean, Buffalo, I imagine the ownership's going to increase, and this might change before lock, but who knows? And then you get some Detroit against Carolina. They're going to be well priced in a tough spot. Detroit's not great, but they could score. You can get that Kane and DeBrincat. Project Mayhem. Maybe I like that as a former Chicago fan. And then Pittsburgh. Let's see what the Pittsburgh stacks look like. Can't go wrong with Crosby. Yeah, you got Hayes on the power play 1. It's pretty cheap. You can get Carlson and Rust. Throwing Calgary. Calgary's making a playoff push. Here you have them with Raquel. What's the ROI of our top lineup look like? Just the top Buffalo. 364%. Well, I'd take that. Let's hope after lock we get a 36%. I'd take that too. It'd be a lot more realistic. So we're not going to have the perfect fields like we think, but there's our answers right now in the early look. Buffalo is looking good. That's subject to change, but as of now, I would go with this, and this is how I would MME on FanDuel. The one thing I might add is you might want to add some uniques. 3-min uniques, 4-min uniques. Just get some diversity in here. Now, the simulations are going to understand your lineup portfolio, and they're going to take diversity into account to some extent. But the problem is the simulations have variances as well, and they have errors because they are assuming perfect information. So you still might want to have some diversity if you're playing a kind of portfolio style. That's the way I would go, is get some uniques in there. People have talked a lot about this. Like if you look at like the Endgame Syndicate guys are really sharp, and they've done videos and roundtables. I won't give away too much that's behind their paywall, but there's a lot of ways to think about portfolio management, but they're all really difficult. And the bottom line is there's one heuristic that kind of we know always works, and that's just getting min uniques. And so that's one way to think about it, one way to go about this. So that's all I got for tonight. This is still going to keep you on 25% Buffalo. So that's how I'd play it on FanDuel. You saw how I'd play it on DraftKings. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check us out at TrueDFS.com, where you can get access to Goldie's projections, Sheets projections, and use them with the contest sims at SaberSim. And the great thing about that is it makes you different from all the other SaberSim users. You're not just using SaberSim right out of the box. So what's up, Project Mayhem? The more I play, the more importance of having higher unique totals. Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is DFS is the highest variance of gambling that you could possibly get, and so we really need to be careful about that, and just getting exposure to a more diverse range of outcomes makes a lot of sense. Thanks for the preview. Keep it the go. Yeah, likewise, anytime, Project Mayhem. Glad to have you here, and I appreciate the shout out. So anyway, that's what I'm going to go. Good luck on tonight's slate. Don't forget TrueDFS.com, where you can get access to these, access to the premium Discord, and some of the stuff we're doing in the voice channel is really unique and different. And so are those projections from Goldie and Sheets. So good luck and happy playing.